that, we're going to have a look at Michael Nunn, who holds the WBA version of the 12-zone title. Only the brilliant James Toney has beaten Michael Nunn in 43 fights. He's going in with Steve little awkward, very ambitious. In fact, he's been in with 5 world champions. Michael Nunn is wearing the right trunks. Let's rejoin Jim and Reg.
Take it out.
Well, there it is. Look now at the southpaw Michael Nunn, one of the stars of American boxing. 5th defence of the WBA version of the super middleweight championship. It's the 12-stone division. And Steve, nicknamed Lightning Little. I suspect that might be overplaying that a little bit. But at least Nunn now coming in at 11 stone 13, just giving away a pound, that's all. Well, that's a relief, because his last contest...
This is over! Left hook in the first round.
Well, that's... I mean, he's been known to do this before. I mean, it's surprising to Michael Nunn. Only one loss in 43, that was to James Toney. But nobody thought this fellow would get near him. I'm saying he's not exactly lightning. Well, he proved it there.
But he looks very gaunt, Nunn. I wonder how strong he is at with his weight. He doesn't seem to be carrying much flesh at all. He had a kind of gaunt look as he came into the ring. And he certainly hasn't started sharply.
No, Jim, I was talking about the records and things, and before I was rudely interrupted by Little's left hook, I was about to say that getting the weight off at the last fight, and now he's done it for this one, there must be a question mark there.
Yeah, I just don't like the look of him.
Too, Jim, you know.
Yep, I mean, he's very slim looking, he's very gaunt. And I mean, that wasn't a tremendous punch, it was a decent punch, but it wasn't a bone shaker, and it put him over, put him in some trouble. So we have to ask, is he a super middleweight, or is he doing the job properly? Is he taking the weight off too near the fight and leaving his strength with it? But he certainly looks gaunt, he doesn't look strong.
Steve Little's fought 5 world champions, but he's only won against one of them, and he's long retired now for Pino Cuevas. If he's going to stand a trade punch with him now, you never know, he might be taking a few chances. It wasn't until the 11th round that he in fact lost his only previous contest to James Toney, the man who mouths off a bit, doesn't he, in the States, and has another version of this championship.
And against Crawford and Ashley, Nunn looks so strong and so intimidating right from the start. But he looks quite the opposite here tonight. I have the feeling maybe he's pulled too much weight off too near this fight.
Usually has Angelo Dundee, one of the top men in the game in his corner, but he's not in the country with him. I don't know whether it is down to the training gym.
Maybe he's not really up psychologically as well. Maybe he thinks this fellow is just going to be a workout for him. But this is certainly a terrible first round by his own standards.
Yeah, he's been shaken a few times.
Yeah, but there's just no life about what he's doing.
As far as I remember, he's only been down against Toney. But he's glad to get that one out of the way.
Laid out, round 2.
Coming up for round 2 then. Now let's see if Michael Nunn's going to recover that and recover his pride in the round.
Well, Nunn wants a big round here, Reggie. He wants to land some real solid shots on this fellow and knock some of that confidence out of him. And that was a disastrous start for Michael Nunn. I mean, he obviously expects an easy defence here, but I don't think he's going to get it. And I have to repeat, Reg, he certainly has the look of a fellow who has left some of his strength somewhere. I wonder how much.
I haven't seen much of Steve Little. Comes from a place called Reading in Berkshire, Pennsylvania. He didn't have any fights last year, Little. You often wonder how they get a chance to go in with that. He lost to Terry Norris, John David Jackson. You may remember he defeated Chris Wyatt. And took some time off. Got a draw with Manuel Sosa, who is Michael Nunn's last opponent.
Well, this is terrible what Nunn's doing here, Reg. It's as though he hasn't a clue what the job's all about.
He's been known to show off a bit in fights, Jim. I mean, he wouldn't go on the floor to do a bit of kidding. That's the last thing he'd do.
I mean, this is the guy we think is the best at his weight. You know, better than Tony, Ben and Eubank. And this really is poor stuff, Ross. And Little still getting through with the shots.
He's hanging on for dear life there, Nunn, isn't he? Look, arm locking. And he just made a remark there. You see that the referee don't hold to Nunn.
I mean, you would expect in the first few rounds that Little couldn't even get close to Nunn if Nunn was at his best. But then Nunn, he actually looks like a novice the way he's standing inside doing nothing. A little bit better now, he's trying to get some punches off a little bit quicker.
Well, I've seen him fight quite a bit, Jim, and this is the first time I've ever seen him as bad as this at the start of a fight.
It's as though he doesn't know what the job is about, and he's still taking shots to the chin from Little.
And his sort of contempt for the opponent, which is always dangerous at world title level. I noticed Jim at the weigh in, the moment that he got off the scales, had a large drink of orange juice all ready for him, so he must have been drying out quite a bit. And remember, that took place at 6 o'clock last night.
We have to remember the trouble he had making the weight for his last defence, Reg. He was 7 pounds over, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, they let him go all night and do it weigh the next morning, which I didn't know how the rules covered that, but they get away with it.
He actually he should have been stripped of his title last time.
That's 6 rounds gone by. Pick it up, will you?
He got a bit of a rousting in the corner there, Michael Nunn, saying, come on, 6 rounds over, you've got to start picking it up now.
Well, he's managing to keep Little at long range, and that's the thing he must do. He doesn't seem to have the strength to cope with Little up close, so he has to keep him at long range on the end of the jab. But you can see, look at here, he wants the referee to break them up. Nunn doesn't want to work up close.
I remember in the Vegas gym when it was his second fight, I think it was, Bob Arum was promoting him then, and he said, this boy's going to be great. And I'm looking, and I suddenly had to say, excuse me, which one are we watching here? Because he didn't look that good then. And it's almost as they reverted back to that all that time ago. And then again, you get very impressed with him. You know, the second fight with Victor Cordoba, he's a little bit lucky to get the championship from the Panamanian who was then out of Belfast. And then he beat him convincingly in return. And then defended against Danny Morgan and Paul Ashley and Manuel Sosa. Held the IBF version too against Frank Tate. He won that back in '88. Made 5 defences before he lost it to James Toney. So you can't believe, when you read statistics like that, Jim, you can't believe what we're watching here.
I think you'd be lucky the rest to be all square after the first 6 rounds, because there were so many rounds when he did nothing. And Little, even now, Little is the keener of the two. Nunn certainly the classier when he goes to work, but there's been so many long delays in getting his punches off. This is better.
Well, they kind of long arm flicks, not what you expect World Championship power, is it at all? You know, he's got a fair 27 stoppages out of 42, which is not, can't call that bad.
Hands up, man. Hands up. That's it.
Well, certainly Nunn's long-range boxing has improved a little bit the last couple of rounds.
And there's a referee collecting the scorecards there from Belgium, New York City and Panama. John Coyle, one of the top referees in the game at the moment, certainly the WBA giving quite a lot of officiating to do.
From the outside.
Take the belt from the right.
10 seconds, rules.
Take.
There you go. Now,
Just getting in time out the ring there, I would have thought the second was coming out for the 8th, and shouts of take the belt in Steve Little's corner. I imagine he came in very much the underdog, and now he's saying, hey, hang on, there's nothing in this fight. He can still be champion of the world. A real Cinderella job that would be. Haven't been out for 14 months. Oh, well, he's looking down there. That was a mistake. He nearly got clobbered there, Jude.
Was that not like an amateur, Reggie?
Wasn't it just?
Slipping and looking at the floor. He deserved to be punished for that. Man of his experience, that's terrible. The southpaw jab is a big problem to Little when Nunn gets it going. He picks them off at well. I mean, this is what you would expect from Nunn. I mean, he is at a different league to this level.
It looks like the type of fighter to give anybody a decent rumble here, which is why he's been in with 5 champions.
I mean, nothing he does is particularly clever, Reggie. He just marches forward and gets the punches flowing. Nunn should be able to get him under control. But he's always looked to me as though he lacks a bit of strength.
It's a voluntary defence, of course. By Mike Banana. I wonder if he's wondering now if I've done the right thing here. Can't be an easy job for the radio commentators around the ringside here at Germany, including Henry Cooper. He hardly calls throwing punches all the time, giving a blow-by-blow account here.
No, it's not actually what we would have expected. We would have thought he'd been a little bit better than this.
So he's switching southpaw occasionally again. I don't know what advantage he thinks he can get with that. With a minute to go in the 8th. He's hustling and bustling away, well, to the best of his ability, really, which seems a bit limited, Little.
The crowd are chanting a little bit now. They're not too impressed with this. Lovely jabs when he gets them rolling. I mean, he really has an excellent southpaw jabs.
Stop boxing, calls the referee. I think he should have said stop larking about for some of that. So another look there, the overhead camera, Jim. You know, the right-hand lead, he does it just occasionally that and looks the part, and then he goes to pieces again. And he looks good there, doesn't he?
Yeah, when he keeps a little long range, see, this is where really, I mean, a man of his experience should never have done that.
And McGuigan's scorecard again, he's still got them even.
Second down, round 9.
Round 9. I'm not sure he's been too generous there with Nunn. I think I've got him just a bit in front. Jim, what do you got?
Nunn swung it around a little bit in the last couple of rounds with his long range stuff, but he was so poor in the first 4 or 5 rounds of the fight. Still fairly close, and it still looks to me that he still has a lot of improving to do to get this well under control.
Just a reminder there, the judges wouldn't know their names. One's called Orlando Sam. I'm sure you don't know him. Sounds like a T-shirt. Belgium, New York City, Panama. That's assuming it goes 12, and the referee John Coyle from the Midlands of England doesn't vote.
Well, the thing about Nunn, he hasn't looked any worse as the fight has progressed. I mean, he looked a little bit fragile in the first round to me, and lacking in strength, but he hasn't got worse as the fight is going on, so maybe this is as bad as we're going to see him. And you would expect him to be able to take over in the second half of the fight here.
Well, it's certainly not a good way to sell himself down in the first fight in Britain.
See, he's never been prepared to do any work up close, Nunn, and that's a sign of a lack of strength, lack of condition. And it all points, in my opinion, to the fact that he's struggling a bit at the weight. And even the good jabs he's throwing, they're not really powerful shots.
Well, if he goes on like this, he's better off going up to the light heavyweight division, Jim, isn't he?
No, I think you can do the weight, Reg. You should just do it properly. You should do it gradually and do it in plenty of time before the fight. You can't think about getting fit first of all and then drag the weight. Oh, that was a lovely punch from Nunn. And that's the quality that we expect from him. You know, it wasn't a real shaker of a punch, but the way he delivered it was lovely.
Yeah, except that it didn't bother. He steamed straight back in.
No, there wasn't any power in the punch, but the way he just brought it out from nowhere, it was lovely. That's a good solid shot coming back from Little there. Good solid right hand.
Trouble with Little Jim, he's a bit short of ideas as well, isn't he, really?
Yeah, he's doing nothing clever, just bulldozing forward, but he's keeping the punches going. And that's always keeping the rounds tight. Certainly, since Nunn has managed to keep him at long range, he's been faring a lot better.
Second round, 12th and last round.
Well, a very indifferent sigh of relief there from the audience for what's been such a disappointing WBA version of the Super Middleweight Championship of the world. And, well, they're all struggling around here on how they're scoring. There's so much difference of opinion. Coming up for the last round, McGuigan's now got Nunn 1 round up. I wouldn't argue with that, Jim, would you?
No, I think Nunn's going to steal the Reg, but I've got to be honest with you, I'd be delighted if the championship changed hands tonight, because it's not been a championship performance from Nunn. He hasn't done the best he could. Little has done his balls to his potential. He's never stopped trying, put his heart and soul right into the performance. Nunn hasn't done any of that. He's held, scuffled and kind of plodded his way through the whole performance. For me, he doesn't deserve to hang on his title with this performance, but unfortunately I think he's going to.
Well, there won't be any sweaty palms here when they're calling for the scorecards, will there? Although there might be from Don King. He's saying, well, what's happened to my man? Whether he could pay for his bit of laziness through the fight here, Nunn, or not. Is it this close? What do you think?
Well, it wouldn't upset me too much, Reggie. It's got to be close. I mean, Nunn has never even dominated a round, never mind dominated a section of the action. He's always been on the defensive. It's just that Little's been a little bit crude in his approach and ungainly, just bullying forward. His punches haven't always been accurate, but he's always been working, never stopped working. As I say, put his heart and soul into the performance. But you always feel that in the back of your mind, in this type of fight, the judges sway towards the champion. A lot of rounds have been difficult to score, and at least Nunn's long-range jabs have been delivered cleanly. As I keep saying, I'll be delighted if the judges like Little better.
Well, if they do, Jim, I tell you what, one of the big upsets of the game, never mind the Chavez getting beaten, because we knew what Randall could do, but we didn't think Little had that much to be able to upset Nunn. But has he? Personally, I doubt it. I'd leave with Nunn now. Although, as you quite rightly say, he deserves some reward. I mean, could we go to the dreaded draw yet again here?
No, I feel Nunn's going to get the verdict. I think his long-range boxing is going to stick in the minds of the officials, but...
Well, they're both raising their hands. They all seem to do that now. And all it gets is a lot of derisive jeers from the British crowd.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of championship boxing, we have a split decision.
Well, that's not unexpected. Split.
Judge at ringside, Luis Rivera scores the match 115-112 in favor of Steve Little.
Oh, there's a 3-round
Judge at ringside,
win
Dr. Orlando Sam Suarez scores the match 115-113 in favor of Michael Nunn.
And the Panamanian to Nunn.
Felipe Verbeca scores the match 116-114 in favor of the winner and new champion.
Well, what do you know about this? Steve Little, the total underdog, hasn't fought for 18 months, has absolutely stunned the boxing trade by taking the championship from Michael Nunn. And Jim Watt and I say, well, he didn't deserve to win it, and he's really going crazy here, Steve Little, and can you blame him? Anything can happen in the fight game, and usually does.
I would think they're still probably jumping around outside Earls Court, but that's really thrown things into disarray, that, Frank, that upset, hasn't it?
Yeah, we more or less finalised the match between Nigel and Michael Nunn. But still, you know, we're going to get together over the next few days and work out the next move.
Don King, personally, are you a bit surprised about Michael Nunn? He got a great reception, and he was booed out of the ring here tonight.
Well, he wasn't in condition, so he didn't fight the fight that he could have fought. And so these things happen. You're either prepared to succeed or you're prepared to fail.
You're the fellow holding the big chips, though. What now for Nigel Benn? Where does he figure after that?
Well, I think the big one is going to be the people of Great Britain and on the legendary TV station ITV. That's who's going to be the big winner now, because we're bringing the best to our viewing audience, and no one can deny we are the network of upsets.
Okay, but...